How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Bitcoin is the next wave. It's the fastest growing asset in the top 10 assets in the world. It's the most popular, most interesting, most digital, most useful, most global, and it's growing, like I said, very quickly. We're going to talk about this, show you what Michael Saylor just said, show you some things that are happening behind the scenes with Bitcoin that you might not actually hear about unless you're out in the world. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this one. Now, Michael Saylor just said, Bitcoin is the next wave, posting this, showing Bitcoin as one of the top 10 global assets, just past silver and Saudi Aramco. Coming up on Google, we need about a 5% move, so Bitcoin right around 105,000 would put it at the same size as Google. Then Amazon's very close, Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, and then at the top, gold. Nothing is really close to gold. Of course, you could look at real estate, but that's a whole asset class, while gold is considered one commodity. Now, this is so interesting because he's saying, okay, it's the next wave. It's a $2 trillion asset right now, and it's the 7th largest asset. It is the fastest growing of all these assets in terms of people buying it, in terms of usage, in terms of growth of the price. It's the most popular. People love Bitcoin. Like, there are diehards. People that believe in this like a religion, even more than something like Tesla. Like, they think that Bitcoin is freedom, that Bitcoin is vitality, that Bitcoin is their life. It's the most interesting, right? The global adoption of Bitcoin. There's news every single day of someone, somewhere talking bullishly about Bitcoin for the first time, kind of flipping bullish, saying that you don't have enough Bitcoin. And sorry if you hear squeaks, my baby here is agreeing with me. But it's the most interesting. We have nations that are going to be buying it here very soon. It's the most digital. You can send it across the world in just a few seconds, anytime, any day. It's the most useful. Again, you can store wealth in it because there are no controlling parties that can all of a sudden decide to flip a switch and print more. You know, Google can go out there and issue more debt, or the CEO can go on a bender, or they can have some massive hack, or a number of other things. They can issue more shares. The thing is, with Bitcoin, none of that can happen. There's only a fixed amount. I guess there could be a hack, but we're far away from that being possible because it has the strongest computer network in the world. And there's no CEO, right? It's also the most global. You can buy it across the world from probably 1,000 different exchanges. You can trade for it in person or you can trade for goods in person with it. There are all different ways that you can get your hands on it, and everywhere you can get it. We actually just had Putin this week say that no one can stop Bitcoin. No one can stop crypto. So this is really interesting. When you look at it this way, just like zoom out, Bitcoin is the fastest growing asset on this list. You know, Nvidia's up there too, but Bitcoin's the fastest with the best story, hence why it's going up so much recently. And something that I've been noticing is that people from the real estate world are getting into Bitcoin. I actually have some interesting stuff to show you. If you do want to trade Bitcoin, by the way, there's a link to BTCC underneath the video. You can see over a long time span, Bitcoin looks extremely bullish. When you zoom in, it also looks extremely bullish. There's going to be bouts of volatility, but if you want to trade, you can trade with the link underneath, and you get a 10% deposit bonus on your first time deposit and lower trading fees. You can buy spot or trade with leverage. Just make sure you understand the risks of trading with leverage because you can lose it. Now, real estate over time has gotten less interesting to people, apparently. If you look at Google Trends over the last 5 years, each year, the amount of searches for real estate goes down. Let's actually zoom out here to 2004 to today. Man, look how much it's gone down. Like, people just aren't interested, or they're not searching for it like they used to. Compare that to Bitcoin. I'm not even sure there were searches for Bitcoin back in 2004, but let's try. Okay, so basically nothing. Huge spike in 2017. Big spike in 2021. Big spike in 2024. Keep in mind, we're not even at the point that we were back in 2021 yet. If you zoom in, let's look at the last Let's look at the last 12 months. Bitcoin has now overtaken real estate in terms of one of the most searched for items, right? Like, the fact is, people are more interested in Bitcoin news than they are real estate. And I've actually been noticing that. I've been hearing from more and more people in the real estate world that they're actually selling real estate to go buy Bitcoin. Now, I'll be honest, I have been buying real estate, but over the last few months, I haven't been buying much Bitcoin because I accumulated so heavily during the bear market. It grew to be such a large part of my net worth. I was like, I just need to get some cash flowing assets now. My job is quite volatile. So I have actually been buying real estate, while a lot of real estate investors, people that have been stuck in real estate or have had real estate for decades, are looking to get into Bitcoin. Now, why would they be doing this? I still don't think I'm wrong, by the way, for getting into real estate. I realize that it's not going to appreciate quite as much as Bitcoin, but there's a little bit less volatility. So if you're worried about that with kids or a job, it can be beneficial. Now, one thing that I've done too with one of my real estate properties, I had money sitting in the bank for expenses. I also realized, though, that I'm only getting, actually, with that account, like basically zero interest. And I have a little bit of time always to move money from a different account into this account for an expense, right? I don't have to pay the expense the day of because I have a property manager. So what I did was I took half of the money that I had in that account and I put it into Bitcoin. I actually put it into IBIT just to make it a little bit simpler. And I've gotten a better return on those IBIT shares than I have on the real estate. So the fact is, more and more people will do something like this too, where you can take a hybrid model. I actually saw Grant Cardone, think whatever you want of him, but just the other day when Bitcoin hit 100,000, he announced that they were going to have some kind of mixed fund where they took money to buy real estate and then took the proceeds of that real estate to buy Bitcoin, like a dividend paying or a Bitcoin dividend paying real estate fund. I'm sure there are insane fees, so don't get mixed up into that, but there'll be more people that do things just like this. It'll be really interesting to see how this shifts over time. Other people that have built up this real estate portfolio, well, it can be stressful, right? There are a lot of things that you have to take into account. Renters, banks, interest rates, repairs. If you can avoid some of that and you can get the same return or a similar return in Bitcoin, or a better return, which is actually how it works out, unless you're, 4x leverage all the time on real estate and you're, appreciating, your area is appreciating by 10 to 15%, you're not going to outpace Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin appreciates by 50% a year, and literally all you have to do is buy it once and put it in cold storage or buy it once on your broker, that is going to be a lot easier than dealing with real estate, even if it's just once a month. Now, with the financialization of Bitcoin too, it's going to be much easier to put Bitcoin up as collateral. It's going to be much easier to sell calls and that kind of stuff against your Bitcoin, so that way you can take a little bit of profit, or you can hedge your bets. This is going to be something that a lot of people are interested in over time, especially with BlackRock coming in, with everyone talking about Bitcoin all the time. People will start learning about it. The Phi Couple, which talks about real estate all the time, real estate and personal finance, but it's usually real estate. They just post on Twitter. Just heard of someone who sold a property and put the money in Bitcoin. They paid $50,000 in 2017 and sold it for $160,000. So they made about $110,000 profit. That same $50,000 would be worth $5 million today if they had bought Bitcoin. That's wild. Usually when we see posts like this online too, I want to be careful, but usually when we hear about this from someone in real estate or someone like Peter Schiff that's in gold, usually there's some kind of snarky comment. Like a lot of traditional finance people are a little bit snarky about Bitcoin because there are a lot of people that are kind of get rich investors that try to get into crypto. So the fact is, a lot of people think about that instead of the really wealthy, smart individuals who have been buying Bitcoin because they see the growth adoption. They see how easy it is to hold for 100 years versus real estate where there are constant taxes. But this will be interesting to watch over time. I think it's quite obvious that Bitcoin is the next wave. It's the next wave in capital. It's the next wave in digital assets. Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Of course, I want to hear your opinions, and I check all the comments. Be careful of scammers down there. There are a bunch of XAI tweets and flow kongs or comments. I've already gone through YouTube Studio and marked them to always take them off automatically, but they still get through somehow. So be careful down there. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.